Good to be with you today. We're coming up on the third Sunday of Easter. We continue to talk about the surprising things happen after the resurrection in this season of Easter, the way that God surprises us in life. But before we get to this week's story, just to remind you, we have a biblical literacy class that meets on Thursdays at 6 o'clock. We're going through the book Understanding the Bible by Adam Hamilton. Also this coming Sunday at 9 o'clock, we have confirmation. We have 2 students that will be confirmed and become new members of the church, and we hope that you can come and gather with us. So the surprising thing this week, we're in the 9th chapter of the book of Acts, the history of the church, the beginning of the church. And in the 9th chapter, at the very beginning, we have generally what we call the conversion of Saul. If you might remember the story, Saul is a persecutor of the early church or of the way. And he is on his way to Damascus to round up some people. And he's hit by lightning and he falls to the ground and he's blinded. And he's sent to a house, and then Ananias is compelled to go and help out Saul. Surprising all the way around, right? That God plans on using Saul in God's way. One who is persecuting this new church. God decides that's somebody that God can use, right? The next thing is Ananias, who is part of the way, is called to go help out Saul. So I can only imagine that Saul did not want to see Ananias, and Ananias, we know, did not want to see Saul. Yet God makes it all happen. God surprises us if we keep our eyes open. Sometimes, though, we think of this conversion story as a one-off story. That conversions don't happen in our lives. Most of us will say that we've never been converted, that we've always been Christian, right? That we've always been a part of the church and have never known anything different. But something else is also going on here. Besides Paul changing his ways in a drastic manner, right? God intervenes in our lives in surprising ways to change us. Like Saul, right? Before he became Paul, he was pretty selfish, pretty stubborn, pretty pig-headed, pretty open, closed-minded. Have you ever been there? Been in a situation that you were just so headstrong and so obsessed with something that you were going forward with it no matter what? Okay? Saul's story is our story. Okay? And then love. Love knocks him over. Love puts Saul in an unbalanced position and he falls over. And then love also compels Ananias to go do something about it. I bet in your life, love has knocked you over before. I bet there's been some point in your life where you were on this path, this journey that was wrong for you and for God, and somehow God intervened, knocked you over, sent you unbalanced, maybe even sent an Ananias in your life to correct you, to get you back on a new path. Love has that way about it. Love has this way of sending us into unlikely places and unlikely people. But love does that so love can complete itself. Okay? Love is never settled. Love is always moving forward. So part of the meditation as we think about Saul and Ananias. When have you been a Saul? When have you been on a wrong path and needed corrected? When were you an Ananias, right? When were you sent to somebody to help them in a hard time in their life where they were going down the wrong path? It happens to us all. Did you experience God in that moment or just experience God afterwards? Our hope during this season of Easter, as we're exploring the surprising ways that God continues to work in our lives, is that we might be able to see God right now. Right? See God doing the surprising things now and not just see later how God acts. And if we can see the surprising ways that God sees now, then maybe we'll be able to join in those acts of love, those acts of grace, those acts of peace, and not miss out on it. I hope you can find this surprising. I hope that you can find God in all that happens. See ya.